Let me start off by saying, why when a group of protesters, rioters, whatever you want to call them, try to tear down a statue of a known racist, other people come out and say, oh, you shouldn't tear down history. Even if it's bad history, it's still American history. Was Tulsa not in America? And was the black Americans that died in the massacre not American? The Tulsa Race Massacre took place on May 31st and June 1st, 1921, when mobs of racist white residents, many of them deputized and given weapons by city officials, attacked black residents and black-owned businesses of Tulsa's Greenwood District, also known as Black Wall Street and Little Africa. This race massacre started when a black man named Dick Rowland entered an elevator occupied by a 17-year-old white woman named Sarah Page. When Rowland entered, Sarah screamed and ran off the elevator. It was perceived that Dick Rowland had sexually assaulted the woman. Rowland was then arrested and taken to a Tulsa courthouse and jailed on the top floor. Then, as common for this time period, a group of white supremacists came down to the courthouse to see to it that Rowland be punished. A local newspaper article also stated, "Nabbed Negro for sexual assault on girl." In response, a smaller group of black residents came down to the courthouse to protect Rowland. This then sparked an altercation amongst the two groups. The next day, hundreds of white residents fled the Greenwood district of Tulsa and began destruction. They burned down over 1,200 homes and thousands of businesses, including hospitals, pharmacies, schools, and movie theaters. They killed 300 or more black residents in 2 days. Some black residents tried to fight back. It was reported at least 10 whites were killed, but what's 10 to 300 or more? And I say or more because a lot of the bodies of the black residents were never recovered. By June 2nd, 1921, Black Wall Street was nothing but ruins. In fact, the destruction was photographed and made into postcards by white supremacists. And the history of Black Wall Street and what really happened was basically erased. And it's not talked about enough today. Isn't that erasing American history? Why is our history always either erased or rewritten and not told in its full truth, in actuality, and what actually happened? And a lot of the stories that you look up today, they relabel it as Tulsa's race riot. It wasn't a race riot, it was a massacre. These people were upset and jealous at the black community and the black civilization because they were so productive. They had over 10,000 residents, hella businesses, hospitals, pharmacies, everything that you could think of that we need. And it makes no sense today we're labeled the thugs and the gangsters and all of that shit, and they act like we have no idea how to build our own civilizations and communities without being guided. And when we do it, they come and tear the shit down. It makes no sense. The production of black people has always been a problem, and I just don't understand why. And the fact that this isn't talked about more, and the fact that a lot of black people that I talk to in the world knows nothing about it. This shit isn't being taught in schools or nothing. But yet, people like the Black Panther Party and the NFC are labeled racist organization and domestic terrorists. When we stand up for one another and show strength and unity, it's an issue. But as long as we kill each other, it's okay. And like I always have to say, I'm not a racist, and I'm not saying all white people are racist and all white people are bad. That's not the point. The point of the matter is, stop making it a problem when we band together to do something productive for our people. If racism and white supremacy wasn't a problem in this country, then why have black people been fighting for black rights for centuries? Black Wall Street and the Tulsa Massacre needs to be talked about more, and it needs to be taught in history. Not only to black people, but to white people as well. Because once again, it is American history. Stop hiding the facts.